Hey there, it's Seth Cherapak, and welcome to my video series on the three biggest obstacles to scaling your expert business to seven figures. Now, if you're running an expert business, I mean that your expertise is your primary product. That might mean that you're a coach, you're a consultant, maybe you own some kind of an agency or a firm, but your expertise, your guidance, your experience, that is your primary product. And that's what I mean by expert business. And I have been working one-on-one with entrepreneurs for over 20 years. I have over 30,000 hours of one-on-one coaching experience, and I've seen hundreds of people hit the six-figure mark and dozens of people I've helped to get past the seven-figure mark. And I'm going to share with you the top three reasons your business is still stuck either a little bit over $100,000 a year, or maybe you're at that magical 20 or $30,000 a month mark and you just can't seem to break through to seven figures. A lot of people get stuck there, and I think you're going to see why as we talk about these obstacles. So let's start with obstacle number one. Obstacle number one is you are limited to marketing mostly to your warm market, right? Occasionally you get somebody who comes into your orbit who hasn't heard of you, or who wasn't a referral, or who wasn't word of mouth. But most of the people you're marketing to are coming through your warm network. Maybe you're meeting them at networking meetings. Maybe they're coming through referrals from other clients, but this is a very limiting and very scary place to be. And it's almost like a prison, right? It's like if you have a plant and you put it into a pot and it grows to where the root system is touching the edges of the pot, and it can't grow anymore, right? Because it can't seek out any water sources to draw in more nutrients from the soil. And so the size of the pot limits the growth of the plant, even if it's capable of getting very, very big. Now, some plants are strong enough to break out of that pot, but we don't want to get lost in the metaphor, right? If you cannot break out of your warm market, you will never be able to reliably scale to seven figures. And you're probably in a really scary place where you're just wondering, where's my next lead going to come from? I think I've exhausted my warm network. No more referrals are coming in miraculously. You keep getting new people coming into your orbit, but you don't want to depend on that because you cannot scale. Now, you've probably already tried to break out of your warm network. Maybe you understand, you're like, Seth, I understand that this is an obstacle. And so that's where obstacle number two comes in. Obstacle number two to scaling your business to seven figures is you have tried paid ads and they didn't work. Now, I'm putting didn't work in quotes for a very specific reason that I'm going to tell you about in just a second. But you know what I'm talking about. You rolled out a funnel or some kind of an advertising campaign where people came in and filled out a lead form, or maybe they were supposed to book calls or buy a product from you first, whatever it was. You paid for advertising for people to come to that page and to become a lead or to book a call or to buy a product. And you started spending money on ads, right? And you're watching your money go out and you're not seeing as much money come back in. Maybe you made enough to where you're breaking even, but you're sitting there watching it and you can feel your blood pressure go up as you feel your bank account balance go down. And you're like, man, I'm relying only on my warm network. I'm doing pretty well, but I don't want to eradicate all of my cash flow trying to find new customers. But you stick it out because you know that that's the only way to break out of the warm network and actually start exploding your business, because it opens up this new pool of leads to you, almost unlimited, depending on what niche you're in. And so you kept it going. You crossed your fingers. Maybe you changed a couple things or tried a couple new headlines or changed an image or changed your offer. Maybe you changed it from where they buy a product to where they book a call. You tried a couple of different things, but after a while, you just couldn't take it anymore, right? You saw this money going out that you were paying for ads, very little money coming back in. Maybe you got a handful of leads, but they just weren't qualified leads. They didn't have any money. They were tire kickers, or they just kept saying, let me think about it. Got to talk to my spouse, whatever, follow up with me tomorrow. And they never bought anything. Or maybe they bought one product from you, but you never heard from them again. Maybe they subscribed to a lead list, but you didn't make a sale off of them. And so you had to cut the ads. You couldn't afford to have your outgo exceeding your income. And here you are again, you turn the ads off. And that's a really, really terrifying and discouraging place to be, because if you understand that paid traffic, access to a cold audience, access to strangers, turning strangers into customers, listen to me very closely. That is the only way to scale your business past 7 figures. Now, maybe you'll luck out and become a word of mouth sensation like a lot of these people did during the early days of the internet, but that doesn't happen very often. And you're probably better off buying a lottery ticket, right, than doing that. And so if you're in a place where you've tried paid ads and you had to turn them off because you just couldn't spend money without making money back, you might be very discouraged right now and thinking, God, what am I going to do now? I know I can't do this to my warm network. I'm scared I'm going to exhaust my warm network. I have to go out there and keep networking and cold DMing people and just really spend so much of your time and your mental bandwidth looking for customers and trying to expand your warm network, and you feel trapped, right? That's obstacle number 2. Now, maybe you've been fortunate enough to overcome these first 2 obstacles, and now you're at obstacle number 3. Obstacle number 3 is where you got paid ads working. Congratulations, right? That's easier said than done, right? It's a lot of people make it look easier, talk about it like it's easy, but paying for advertising, paying for traffic to your ads and actually converting that into profits is a very rare skill. And this is why most people can't scale their business to 7 or 8 figures. It's because they just don't know how to do this. And they're kind of trapped within their warm network. Like I said before, it's like the plant that you put in the pot. It can't grow any bigger than the pot you put in it because its root system can't get out any further. And listen to me, you probably have all the capability and you're working just as hard as you would be if you were making 7 or 8 figures a year. You've got all the knowledge, you've got all the expertise. You're watching all these people who are dumber than you and who don't work as hard as you. They're making all kinds of money and you can't seem to get there for the one reason that you've gotten paid ads to work, right? People are buying from you, you're getting a couple of conversions, but you're just at that break even point, right? You're pulling in enough customers, but every time you scale up your ad spend, every time you increase your ad spend, something crazy happens. These advertising platforms, I mean, they're smart. When you start scaling your ad spend, they know, oh, okay, that person must be making money. And they're going to charge you more for either your CPMs or they're going to broaden the audience. And you're going to get less qualified people. Whatever it is, obstacle number 3 is when you've gotten paid ads working, but you cannot scale it, right? You're making sales, but you can't scale. Now, sometimes what happens to people is as soon as they start making sales into their business, they realize that the infrastructure of their business cannot handle volume. And you know what scale really means? Actually, scaling has nothing to do with selling. Scaling means that your fulfillment process is streamlined enough to where you can handle a 10 times or 100 times increase in your business without losing efficiency. And sometimes it comes down to your business operations, but we're talking about marketing right now. So either one or two things happened if you got paid ads working. Either you couldn't scale it because every time you up your ad spend, it got to where you were spending more money than you had coming in. And maybe you saw a light at the end of the tunnel, right? You said, well, all it's going to take me is 90 days to turn these leads into customers. So if I can just financially survive this 90-day period, I'll be good. But you didn't have the extra money set aside to do it. And so you basically have to keep your ad spend where it is and you get a trickle of customers coming in. You just can't grow. So those are the top 3 obstacles to running a 7-figure business. You're either trapped in your warm network, you couldn't get paid ads to work, you could get paid ads to work and you couldn't scale them, and you either couldn't scale them because every time you scaled up, you started, you couldn't handle the financial delay period between the time when you paid for the ads and the time when they started paying for themselves, or maybe your operations didn't allow you to do it. That is why you are stuck. You could forget all this mindset talk, right? People talk about lack of self-confidence, shiny object syndrome, distractions. All those things are a result of not having an efficient system for bringing you a steady stream of inbound leads, converting strangers into clients. The reason I know that is because let's say that you're bumping around from one strategy to another and you're thinking, well, it's just distraction. You can't focus. I can't stick with one thing long enough. That's not really the problem. I mean, think about it. How motivated and disciplined would you be and how encouraged would you be to wake up and work every day if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that all you had to do is increase your ad spend and you could grow your business as much as you wanted to, as much as your market allowed to, because you had cracked the code, not only on paid ads, but being able to scale paid ads up to where your operational infrastructure can handle it. And you can increase the ad spend however much you want, because now you're making the money back fast enough, or you're making enough money back to where you can handle that delay. Or maybe there's not a delay because you're breaking even or making a little bit of money on the acquisition process. Now, Well, all of a sudden, that burnout that you're feeling, that discouragement that you're feeling every day about not coming to work or not, being able to do what you got to do to own grow your business, that all disappears because you're confident, right? Confidence comes from being able to confidently get results. A lot of people get burnout in their business and get all kinds of weird mindset problems like imposter syndrome and fear of success and fear of failure and all that other stuff. And it has nothing to do with what's going on internally. They're a perfectly confident person. The problem is that they don't have a system that works. When you have a system that can consistently turn strangers into customers predictably to where you can adjust your income like a thermostat by turning your ad spend up and down. Well, that just gets rid of all that confidence and motivation problem. So forget all this mindset crap and all this stuff about, healing your inner child. All that stuff is really important, but you don't need to scale your business. What you need is a system that can predictably turn perfect strangers into customers. Now, I know you've heard a lot of empty promises about, well, you got this proven system that does this, this, and this. You probably got a lot of little bookmarks on your browser, right? Maybe you've bought and downloaded a lot of these products and you've gone to their webinars. Maybe you've paid for their masterminds, and all they want to do is sell you on the next thing, but they haven't given you a proven system at all. In fact, the only reason the system works for them is they have a big list. They have this big brand recognition, whatever guru they are. And that's why the system works for them. It's got nothing to do with the system itself, because when you apply it to yourself, well, it doesn't work for you because you don't have those things going for you. Or even worse, sometimes the proven system they're selling you, it ain't actually the system that made them successful, right? It's just what they're selling you, and they're making money by selling you the system and saying that the system works. And you're buying it because you think it works. And you're looking at what they're doing and say, well, it must work. Look at how well they're doing. But the system they're selling you doesn't work. And that's how they're still selling you. They're basically selling you air, empty promises, empty hope, right? That dangling carrot of hope that makes you buy this product first, then this product, then this product. And they get more and more expensive until finally you realize, I just bought a bunch of nothing. I got to start spending money on this. Now, what do you got to do to overcome these three obstacles? There's only one thing, and I want to reveal that to you in the next video. But first, I want to get a little bit of feedback from you about what you identify most with. Okay. If I'm going to help you with my 20 plus years of expertise, I need to understand where you are. So here's what I want to do. Just go to the survey below this video, and I want you to there's a question there that asks you which of these obstacles you can most identify with. It asks you for your email and for your name, because I just want to be able to keep in touch with you and send you more information on how to apply the systems that I teach you. And then on the next page, I'm going to give you access to another video series that absolutely debunks all this crap you hear out there from the gurus about their proven systems and shows you exactly what it takes to create a marketing system, funnel, whatever you want to call it, that can predictably turn perfect strangers into customers who are willing to buy from you for $10,000, $20,000. And listen, picture this. There's probably a few of these people out there right now, walking around with your money in their pocket. You've got their solution. They don't know who you are. And they could literally be on a sales call with you next week or maybe next month, spending $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to work with you. The problem is you don't have a system for connecting with that person and gradually turning them into someone who trusts you enough to make that decision. And I'm going to show you exactly why most people can't do that. I'm going to show you the psychological steps that we take a person through that helps people build these winning funnels. And the second you see this system for yourself and you see the common sense and the intuition behind it, you're going to look at it and you're going to recognize, of course, that works. It makes so much sense. It completely relates to the way I make decisions in my personal life, the way everybody else make decisions. And you're going to see that this is exactly what it's going to take to get your business to 7 figures. So go ahead and fill out the form below this video, and I'll see you on the next page.